Okay, so welcome everybody on the channel. Tonight we have Paolo on the channel with his own YouTube channel on TRT, just like I have a lot of TRT stuff on my channel. So welcome, Paolo.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
And hit that notification bell so you won't miss anything.
Thank you for having me.
Good evening. So this is a part 2 interview. I was already on Polo's channel. He interviewed me about my experience with TRT, how I got into doing all this stuff. So I think I will ask a bit of the same. So Polo, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where do you live? And what's your age maybe?
Well, I'm Paolo Broccardo. Paolo Broccardo, it's an Italian name. My father was Italian, my mother was English. But as you can hear by the accent, I was born and raised in South Africa, but now I'm living in Europe. So it's a whole mixed breed combination of things. But I'm in Europe now, and I run a channel called Paolo Broccardo, which deals with testosterone replacement therapy. Basically, the beginner sort of concepts around TRT and the practical side of things, how to give injections, how to do self-injections, and that kind of thing. I didn't know anything about TRT when I first got into it. It was actually, I heard about it from my doctor who suggested it when I went to her with the usual symptoms, low energy, mild anxiety, mood disorders, irritable, no motivation. I was making no progress in the gym. And so I was telling her these things, and she initially thought I should take a vitamin B injection, but she said, let's do some blood work and see where your testosterone levels are. I didn't know what that was at the time. And she was working with some other male patients. And then the results came back, and they were about 330 nanograms per deciliter, which is not too low. You do get lower, but it was in that sort of funny range where you could sort of get symptoms. So she said, let's trial you on TRT, just see how you do. And straight after that, I felt magnificent. It was really good. I started on Sustanon at the time. I've switched to a couple over the years in that, but basically life changed for me from that point on. I went from being a very introverted computer programmer that wanted to sit behind his computer cubicle for the rest of his life. And then from that, after getting TRT, everything changed. Lifts increased, my motivation increased. I put plans to leave my job and start traveling and focus on my own business ventures and things like that. And so here I've landed up in Europe now. But how I got into the channel was when I first came to Europe, I was in the Netherlands, and I didn't really have hassle getting TRT there because they just continued my prescription. Yeah, so then when I arrived in the UK, I tried to get my TRT continued, the prescription continued, and that's where I started having problems. And I think like most guys in the UK that struggle to get TRT, it was just a long, painful process. So that's when I started talking about it on my YouTube channel. And I found that I was getting a good response from other guys who were having similar experiences with the NHS. And so we started talking about it, connecting. And the response was really good that I decided to continue with the channel and just share my experiences and also other helpful information that can help guys with the practical side of things, not just getting the TRT, but also administering it to yourself, self-injections and that kind of thing, because a lot of us are doing at home prescriptions, where they get sent to you from the pharmacy or from the doctor. So that's basically how the channel got started. It's grown since then, and now you and I are in the same position where we have a lot of guys that are looking for helpful information, and we provide it to them. And I think that in itself is a rewarding part of it. You and I are not in it for the money. We're not charging anything for it. We just want to help as many people as we can because we were in a similar position before, and we know how frustrating it can be when you struggle to get treatment or you have questions that you can't find answers to.
Exactly, and I'm really glad I found your channel first, because on that moment I was in need and there was not much information around, and I got on your channel, and you were very friendly talking to me, and it was very practical as well, since at that moment I needed to inject myself with Sustanon, and you taught me some things. And I was still curious about some things personal. So what's your age, and at what age did you become symptomatic, and did you go search for help?
I'm 39 now, so I'm almost at my 40. I got treated around about 2010, 2009, 2010, and like I said earlier, the symptoms were starting. I was lifting at the gym. I was seeing no progress. I was struggling to get out of bed. I was very moody and irritable and very snappy, and just didn't want to be around people. That almost introverted. unless I was drinking, and actually for 10 years, since I was 17 up until I was 27, 28, when I was experiencing things, I was a binge drinker every weekend. So that probably contributed to the sort of depletion of my hormones and that. And anyway, like I said, then I went to go get this checked out at my doctor. I didn't know about TRT. I didn't know about testosterone. In fact, when she mentioned it, she talked about testosterone, and I thought she was talking about steroids, and I was very against it. She sort of explained it to me, and I said, okay, I'm open to the idea. I just wanted something that would make me feel better, because I just felt like absolute shit, and I was like, I don't want to continue living like this. So and like I said, I tried it, and literally it was life changing. It was almost like I had the life put back into me, and from then everything went fantastic after that, and it's been great ever since.
Okay, great. Another question I always have or want to ask you whenever I hear about you on your channel: why do you move countries that much?
Oh, it's just random. I get to a place, and then when I'm there, sometimes I get in a comfort zone, and sometimes I get to a point where, like, okay, I've spent enough time, and now I move. I like new experiences, and that I used to be terrified of them, and I'm one of these people that love to conquer my fears. And so the more you travel and you put yourself in new situations, the more comfortable you come with it. So soon it becomes second nature, and it's not a hassle. Hungary, where I am now, was just random again. A friend and I thought we'd come over here for a month's holiday, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to be traveling over there, why not just stay there? And so, I've been here now almost a year, and I'm glad I did, because I met a beautiful girl, and we're happy, and so it was a good move together. And these things kind of just have a way of, I don't know, the universe sort of drifts you along sometimes into these situations, and they kind of tie into things that are going in your life, going on in your life, and things like that. I had some things I was dealing with in the UK before I came here, so I thought it would be nice to get a bit of change of scenery and not a fresh start, but just a change of environment, and it did a world of good.
Okay. And another question: how do you see your channel evolve in the next few years? Are there other subjects you can touch on? Other hormones, maybe? How do you see that?
I think about this all the time, and I know for now the plan is to stick with the basics and the practical stuff, just because there's so much still to cover, and still so many questions from guys out there, that I'm not going to move on to anything until I've covered that. One area I think I will touch on in future, and I've had a discussion with another guy from Balance My Hormones, not Mike, but a guy called Sam, is the anxiety side of things. Because a lot of guys think that because low testosterone can cause anxiety, right? They think that low testosterone cures anxiety, but sometimes anxiety is not even linked to low testosterone. It can be some sort of psychological issue, that's maybe caused by a trauma in childhood or a traumatic event and things like that. And a lot of guys still struggle with anxiety, even if they get their testosterone sorted out. And this is something I've dealt with too. And going through therapy, I found out that there's two forms of therapy that are really going to change your life when it comes to anxiety: testosterone replacement therapy, and then real therapy. Now, this might not be for everyone, but it's an avenue that a lot of guys discount, like I did. No, you don't want to go to a quack, and this kind of guy that's, but if you find the right person and they can get to the root of the problems, it can make a huge difference on your anxiety and depression. And I could see, especially with the drinking, I could see there was a problem. And when I started therapy, you hear all these guys, these guys in their 30s and 40s dropping like flies, killing themselves and like that. And I never thought myself depressed, but once I started therapy and I could understand the root of my anxiety, I could see that if I didn't get this treated further down along the line, maybe I could have landed up like these guys, because it escalates and it creeps up, and you just get more and more frustrated because you don't know how to deal with it. And so I consider myself lucky for avoiding that. And I want to, just like TRT, I want to sort of share that experience and help other guys with anxiety and hopefully depression too, because I think if you can cover your hormones and your psychology, you can sort of nip it in the bud almost completely. Everyone's going to have bad days. You're never going to be sort of completely peaceful and bliss. But I think those are the two factors that can make a huge difference.
Okay, very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Very good point. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe to wrap it up, how can people reach you? Where can they find you? What is your main platform, and so on?
Well, right now it's just YouTube. Paolo Broccardo is the channel. And I've got a website too called trthub.com. That's where I sort of do the blog posts and sometimes post the videos related to TRT, as the name suggests. All other social media I kind of boycott because I just don't. I'm not going to get into it, but I just think it's not good for people in general. Being social is good. Social media, I think, is antisocial, but that's a topic for another day. That's me personally, but yeah. So those are the two avenues for now. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'll link your channel under this video in the description.
Great.
Okay, so Paolo, thank you so much, and talk to you next time.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.